Hey everyone, I'm Chaz with Board Game Geek here with Pat from The Up. And you are going to be showing us Harry Potter House Cup competition.
Absolutely.
Ooh, how's this work?
So we're really excited about this one. This is our, I like to say it's our game for the Ravenclaws. This is our Harry Potter worker placement game. And so blending a very popular mechanic with a very popular IP seemed like a great way to go. And what I really like about this is it brings in all of the familiarity of the House Cup. You're competing for House Cup points to try to have your house be the best at the end of 7 years of play, or 7 rounds that are tracked at the bottom of the board. And the primary scoring mechanic, as you're scoring house points, we have this fantastic 3D element that simulates sort of those vials you see in the films and hear about in the books, where the gems are going into the glass tubes to keep track of how many house points each house has. So as you're scoring points by completing different House Cup challenges throughout the game, you're adding gems into your tube. It gives you a sense of the score, but without revealing exactly who's in the lead. There's a couple other endgame scoring conditions, so it keeps that competition fierce right to the end in this game. The other piece I really like is there's a leveling up system. So because you are students at Hogwarts and you're attending classes and you're learning lessons from these cards here in order to complete challenges, you'll see each house has 3 students that come with it. So Gryffindor is displayed here, and we've got Harry, Hermione, and Ron, of course, as the trio from Gryffindor. And as you take different actions, you can level up their abilities in things like Defense Against the Dark Arts, Charms, and Potions.
I see.
And the higher those abilities are, the more spaces those students can access on the board, and the more challenges they can complete. So some spaces, as they're revealed throughout the game, will have a cost that a student must be at least level 3 or above in a particular skill in order to go there. So if you level up Harry far enough, then he's eligible to go and use that space, whereas other students might not be able to do that. And similarly, the challenges have requirements in the different proficiencies. And so at the end of each worker placement round, you have this moment where all the students come back, and then you can use challenge cards you've collected in your hand and say, okay, Harry can complete this one by himself, and then Hermione and Ron working as a team can complete this one, so I can score them both in this round.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if your character, say, poor Ron, say he's down like this, and and Hermione's doing a great job, but Harry, for some reason, I guess he's been busy saving the world. He's down here. Could Harry and Ron work together to combine their points as a team to get in there?
Yeah, so the way it works is at the end of each round, after students have placed all 3 of their students and then collected them back, any challenge cards that are in hand, you can complete 2, either 2 easy, an easy, and a hard, but never 2 hards. So you kind of have to map that out, right? Of how do you maximize your points?
Yes.
And like all good worker placement games, there's a need for efficiency here. So you might say, well, you know, Ron's for some reason taking the lead in this house, so he's going to go ahead and do this easy challenge by himself. But the hard challenge is out of reach for any individual student that I've collected. But I'm going to use my other 2 students, total their abilities in the proficiencies, and they're going to reach that. Or sometimes there's a strategy that you kind of build out a champion, right? And they're going to do the hard challenge all on their own, and then I'll leave some of the lower challenges to the other students in my house.
So you can kind of try to mitigate kind of your allocations of points to them as you're going along to try and get those bases covered in that way.
Yeah, and one of the challenges for sure is when you use a level up space, you have to level up the student you place there.
Okay.
So if a student is going to the classroom to learn about potions, if Ron goes to the classroom, Hermione didn't learn anything, she wasn't there. So you have to kind of stagger and plan out your actions accordingly to level up the right students at the right time.
Nice, nice. Now, what about the professor's office and the library? Because I see these have different icons and such on them.
Yeah, so kind of an overview of what we have here. So the lesson cards are here, and these are cards you can spend if your student you're placing that turn meets the requirement, either before or after your action. You can play 1 per turn.
Okay.
So certain spaces let you collect those cards. Anywhere you see the scroll lets you take lesson cards. L's and up arrows are level up, so this isn't any proficiency, and this isn't specific potions, charms, and defense against the dark arts. The trophy cards are things that let you collect challenge cards into your hand so that you have the opportunity to complete them.
Okay.
Magic, which is the wizard's hats, basically lets you make up for missing abilities. So if I'm short in Defense Against the Dark Arts, I can use magic to push me up and make up the deficit.
Okay.
And then knowledge, which is the books, which you get in the library, gives you the ability to complete certain things that have an added requirement. So we see here on this hard challenge, the student or students completing it need to have a total charms of level 7, Defense Against the Dark Arts of level 7, and you have to spend 2 knowledge.
Okay.
So it becomes a resource you have to
Extra
spend.
resource. Okay. Nice. So you are using worker placement kind of sensibilities in that way over the course of the 7 years or rounds to level up the characters, which is really cool that they level up as they're going along, to complete the tasks, to earn kind of more points in kind of this not quite hidden point system, but obscured point collection system, which is really cool. And then is it after the course of 7 rounds, whoever has accumulated the most points, that house wins?
Yes, so it's the most points where each gem represents 10 points. Each pair of leftover resource, so 1 magic and 1 knowledge, is 10 points. And then you get a 10-point bonus for each student who has a proficiency that's reached level 10, or level 7, which is the highest level. Okay. So if Harry's maxed out to level 7 for all 3, that's 30 points. Okay. So you can score extra points that way as well.
Because you mentioned there was additional scoring in addition to this.
Exactly.
And I do want to mention that just at first glance, I had this backwards. The higher, the farther they are this way, the higher the points is 1 through 7 right there.
Correct.
Okay, nice. So this looks like a kind of a prototype version of it that's in development. So where is this in terms of its production and kind of timeline?
This is a great Ross question. I think we're aiming Gen Con, yes, for
Yeah,
House
that'd
Cup?
be great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. So aiming for Gen Con. And what's the estimated kind of price point going to be for it?
50.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ross. All right. This sounds great. I really like the idea of leveling up the characters that you have to place around the board. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this as it comes along in its production.
Yeah, and I should mention this is a Nate Heist design, so he's an outside designer. So he brought this concept to us. This is his brainchild that we have had the pleasure to work with. So give him a shout out there for a very clever idea.
Very nice. Yes, that's really clever. Okay, thank you, Pat. And that is Harry Potter House Cup Competition. Take a look for it this summer.